This is more than a podcast. It's practice. A practice of choosing presence over pressure, of choosing softness over survival mode, of choosing beauty over burnout. Come as you are, stay as long as you need. Welcome to Beauty Over Burnout. Still believing, who's there? So before I get started, I love to burn Palo Santo in order to kind of clear the energy in the room. So let's go ahead and clear the energy in the room before we get started. I don't know about y'all, but this is like one of my practices that I do to really feel good. Palo Santo, it definitely kind of clears negative energy. Ooh, Lord have mercy. Getting ashes everywhere. Palo Santo clears the energy in the room. It also, okay, before I burn the whole podcast. It definitely lifts spirits. It's an energy clearer. I love to smudge my entire house with it, especially after days of work dealing with people and you need to just like remove other people's energy from your energy field. This will definitely help, and you can call all your energy back as you're burning and smudging your area. So I just wanted to do that with y'all real quick. And then I want to check in. How y'all doing? How your mama doing? How your daddy doing? How you doing? Mainly how you are doing. Okay, let's start there, because if we're not right with self, then all these other extra people are just getting us pouring from an empty cup. So how are you doing? It's a lot going on, child. 2026, baby. All of this was not on my bingo card, but you know what? I'm not surprised. Are you surprised? Okay, because the veil has lifted. We are in age of Aquarius. And if you know anything about age of Aquarius, she didn't come to play. And being an Aquarius myself, I didn't come to play. Okay, I did not come to play. I am showing up this year. So I hope that you are showing up for yourself this year and doing all the things that you need to do to keep balance. And that is what this podcast is about. It's about moving through life, but at the same time, making sure that as we're moving, we are maintaining some type of balance. So you can check in down below to let me know how you're doing. How's your mental health? How your physical health? That is really important too. But you know, baby, once the mind goes, the body goes with it. So before we jump into our topics for today, I want to explain my segments that I have for this podcast, and it's basically our flow together as we are moving through this conversation. And so the flow of my podcast, I have a segment, Life Lately, which is where I do a real-time check-in about what's going on with me. And then I kind of segue into my healing in practice, where I share what I'm actively working through to find softer, more regulated ways to exist in a loud world. Then we go into This Should Be More Viral, where we have conversations around healing practices that deserve more attention. LOLTLC, which I love this name, and I came up with it myself. LOLTLC is Laugh Out Loud, Tender Love and Care. Anybody that knows me, I love to laugh, and I'm always going to be cracking jokes, and I'm going to be cracking jokes on here too. Hopefully y'all going to laugh at them. But I know I laugh at myself a lot. So, Laugh Out Loud, Tender Love and Care. And that is because healing isn't always supposed to be heavy. We make space for joy, humor, and the small moments that help us breathe again. Or not breathe again, because sometimes you're going to be laughing so hard that, you lose your breath. And then the last segment that we'll have together in our flow is Reflect, Influenced, and Inspired, which is a deep reflection on what's shaping a mindset shift, intentional living, or voices of creatives who are moving the culture forward. That's probably going to be my favorite one. So, and I have my laptop in front of me because I like to stay organized, okay? Like to continue with the flow. So the first segment, life lately. Okay. So how am I feeling? I feel like I finally have reached like a space of calm and where anxiety just does not like take over multiple parts of my life. And when I say multiple parts, that means job more specifically, because a lot of times jobs can create anxiety, especially within this economy. A lot of people are very nervous about losing their jobs and being able to find another job that's going to sustain the life that they have already created. Because let's be honest, they pulled the rug up underneath our feet. Okay, so with everything that's going on with the economy, I don't feel any anxiety towards it, and I try to keep a positive mindset when it comes to like the job that I have and security that I have in that job. My job is not bringing me anxiety. I have learned, and I've did a video on this before. I was choosing chaos, and I was kind of like welcoming it into my space when I go into other spaces because I wanted to fix things. But now where I'm at, I don't feel like I need to fix nothing. Okay. So I have definitely worked on a lot of like my anxiety and maintaining like peace and calm into my life. So much peace that I'm not even gonna lie, I'm scared that somebody's gonna come in and disrupt it. But I'm learning that that's not how you create community with people, by just building up a wall, because you just like, I have worked so hard for peace. So baby, you're going to have to knock twice and hope that I will answer. So I am now in a space where it's like, okay, I have such great peace, but how can I build community? And I'm on here with y'all. So I'm definitely going to attempt, and I'm trying to connect with you guys and build community as we're in this space. My week summed up, child, I just worked. I went grocery shopping. I always buy roses when I'm grocery shop, so that helps me with the mood in my space and maintaining that mood. I did not do anything this weekend fun. Not this weekend. Next weekend. We'll talk about next weekend. Next weekend we got something planned. Hopefully I don't cop out and not show up. But yeah, so that's what's going on with me. So one of the things, now we're on to my healing and practice. So one of the things that I found myself doing is a lot of doom scrolling. Like picking up my phone even in the morning, that's like the first thing I'm touching, and I'm starting to like scroll. And then not only that, with everything that's going on, we talking about politics, we talking about pop culture, what's going on in pop culture, what's going on in the social world. Like, baby, I was getting burnt out from all of those topics, to the point where like I was ready to block certain pages, and I was just trying to figure out like, what the heck is my algorithm showing me? Why is it showing me? And the algorithm became like my worst enemy. Okay, my worst enemy, because these were not things that I was even liking or engaging with, but yet they were popping up in topics that I do not like to touch. And don't like to see, because a lot of it is rage bait, and I don't want to engage in that or see it to cause me to then want to get in the comments and just be like typing away, because I don't need that type of energy. I don't need to welcome, you don't need to welcome anything in your life that you don't want, because my beliefs are anything that you focus on, negative or positive, that is what is going to show up in your life. And so I don't know if you guys have been feeling that way, that the algorithm has just been showing you all these things, and I hope that you're not feeding into them, because the algorithm can be your worst enemy. So one of the things that I've just started to do was just like, okay, I have built a now habit to pick up my phone and be on social media watching things, because that's kind of like, I've created a habit where as I'm getting dressed or whatever, I need some type of noise, but like, what can I do instead? So I started listening to podcasts, not on these social media platforms, but on YouTube. And the podcasts that I tend to listen to have a lot to do with about healing and growth and elevating and things like that, and changing your mindset. And so I'm still getting the stimulation that I was getting from social media, but I'm shifting the type of stimulation, if that makes sense, even though we should not always be connected to a device. But we're going to work on that. It's a slow process, okay? But at least the things that I am ingesting, or what do I want to call it, consuming, are going to be for my good and not for my bad. So I've been doing that. I've also, like, at times where I feel like I need to scroll through something, I've chose Pinterest over Instagram or TikTok. And so my Pinterest is curated literally by the things that I repin, like, or whatever. So if the things that I'm repinning have nothing to do with politics, have nothing to do with the dating world, has nothing to do with whether you're single, mingling, in a relationship, getting married, having babies, none of that. It's literally things that have to do with what I like to see. I like to look at Black art on there. I like to look at, what else I be looking on there? Oh, nails. Okay. And so those bring me back to a level of calm. That is consumption of content that brings me to a level of calm and does not create anxiety or anger or negative emotions. And so that's what I have been doing. And then lo and behold, recently my TikTok has jumped to a different topic. It's probably like, oh, she not feeling all of this, so let's like get out of that. And so I'm seeing a lot more stuff from spiritual girlies, a lot more like makeup and things that are just more positive. And so I'm just like, okay, algorithm, stay there, but I'm still going to do these other things because I don't need to be doom scrolling anyway. But with everything that's happening, do you find yourself scrolling more or getting overstimulated? What are your unplugged practices? Please do share with me and let me know in the comments. Okay. So the next segment that we have is this should be more viral. Okay. And I'm going to talk about 3 different things that I've seen in people's practices of healing and just like breathing again and balancing life. Of course, like ideally we all would love to take like an hour, 2 or 3, okay, to do these things, but I know everybody's life is not set up the same way. But I do like to introduce things that like I feel like should have more attention because they're actually very effective. The first one is Reiki. And so I've discovered Reiki. I've heard the name before, but I never knew what it was. And I accidentally stumbled upon, here again, on YouTube, a lady who does Reiki practices. But first, let me tell you what Reiki is before I tell you her channel. So Reiki is a Japanese non-invasive energy healing technique aimed at stress reduction, relaxation, and promoting physical, emotional well-being. Practitioners lightly place their hands above a fully clothed recipient, acting as conduits of universal life energy to flow into the body, balancing energy centers, i.e. chakras, okay, and to encourage natural healing. So there's no like oils, herbs, and anything that's kind of really, well, they do use oils sometimes and probably like, aromatherapy, but they literally use natural energy from the hands and they tap into that energy in order to heal parts of the body that are, the chakras are blocked, and you're seeing like a lot of tension in that part of your body from whatever you're experiencing in life. So how it works is based on belief that a life force energy flows through us, okay? If this energy is low, we are more susceptible to stress and sickness. Sorry, tongue twister. To stress and sickness. So Reiki balances this energy flow and releases blockages, like I said. So when you have a session, like I said, the person puts their hands over the body and basically moves the energy around and removes the blockages. Lord have mercy, my tongue tied today. Removes the blockages. And of course, like, the person has to be certified and they've been practicing or whatever. So what typically happens during these Reiki sessions is that you feel more relaxed. It improves your sleep. It can reduce pain in certain parts of the body. It reduces stress, most importantly. Well, everything is important, but it reduces stress and it increases like mental clarity. Okay. Also, what I didn't realize, because when I discovered this lady, I'm like, how were you able to practice Reiki when the person is not in front of you and you're doing this via video? What I found out is that Reiki, you can tap into a person's energy even when you're not in front of them. And we all know, like, even on social media, honestly, people are tapping into your energy. That's a conversation for another day. But they can perform Reiki via through means of like remotely or virtually or whatever. And that brings me to this lady that I found. So her YouTube channel is Alchemy Healing. And what she does is she posts these videos where she is performing Reiki and she's using it in the screen. She's moving her hands in the screen, okay? Just the same way that you would do if a person was laying down flat on a table. And so what her whole purpose of making this channel is to touch more people outside of just being in person, to raise vibrations collectively through this practice. And I'm gonna say this, I'm all for it, because let's be honest, and as cliche as it may sound, but love is what it's gonna take to heal the world, point blank, period. And we are all working off of some type of energy. We are all having human experiences, but love is the highest vibration. And there are a lot of people who are moving off of survival mode, fear, hate, anger, all the negative emotions, and which is the reason why we are experiencing the things that we are experiencing. And collectively, meaning like if every person on this earth was vibrating out of love and healing, they're not hurt, they're not moving out of fear, they're not moving out of anger, they're not moving out of any of the negative emotions that you could think of, this world, when I tell you, it will probably blossom. Like all of a sudden you will just see whoosh, like a whole energy vibration would just happen. Will I be alive to see that day? Probably not. I would love it, but here we are. So I'm all for the Reiki. I actually want to try this, but I would prefer to do it in person. I have tried to do it through her YouTube channel, but it feels more like meditation for me than actually Reiki, the energy movement, if I would say. But I don't know. Check out her channel and let me know what you think. The second thing is sound bowls. I do own a sound bowl. I forget what note I have. Do not sue me. I meant to bring it out to show you guys, but I purchased a sound bowl back in like 2020, I believe, like during quarantine time. And that's when I kind of started getting into like other spiritual practices to create balance within the body. And let me just explain quickly what like sound bowls are. So sound bowls, also known as like singing bowls, they're basically a type of bell, and they're traditionally made from metal alloys, or they can be quartz. I have a quartz sound bowl, and it's like a crystal quartz, and it's lightweight. It's kind of like, if you know stones and that and this, that, and the third, then you would understand like what crystal quartz is. But anyway, so these bowls produce certain sounds, and their harmonic tones and vibrations, and when you strike them, they make like certain vibrations and certain notes. So you have the B note, and the B notes connect to the crown chakra. You have the A note, which connects to your third eye. I think I have an A bowl. I'll let y'all know later in the comments. But the A bowl connects to the third eye. The G bowl, the G note connects to the throat chakra. The F note connects to the heart chakra. The E note connects to the solar plex. D, the navel chakra. And then C, the root chakra. Okay. So when you are striking specific notes, you are tapping into the vibration of these different parts of your body, and you're clearing the energy. And it helps you relax. They're used for meditation. They're used for, again, energy blockages of the sort. There's also a thing called sound baths. I would love to do a sound bath. They have one in Houston. There's like on the rooftop, and they all lay on a little yoga mat, and I'm like, ooh, I gotta do this. Okay. And so a sound bath is not just like one bowl, it's like multiple bowls, and the person is like playing all these things at once, and it's just literally like clearing the energy. So it does something very similar to Reiki, but it's using a musical, I would say, type instrument, because they are instruments, musical instrument, in order to do it. And when I tell you, like, I go into like this whole trance, and it feels so good when you are doing sound bowl healing. Okay. So it definitely helps a lot. I've done like little sessions with people that I know, and they tell me like, oh my gosh, that felt so good. So let me know if you are interested in trying that. That's like a very easy thing to kind of like purchase off of Amazon and just do it yourself and learn how to play. The last thing is like meditation. And we all know about meditation or whatever. And meditation is basically just it's training your mind and body to kind of like just stay in the moment, which we all struggle with, staying in the moment, because life is always moving fast paced. And there's all types of apps nowadays, like Headspace, to help do meditations. A lot of people do guided meditations, and it doesn't always mean that you have to sit there and close your eyes and sit in Indian style and cross your hands. Sometimes you can meditate even with your eyes open. It's just about staying in the moment in some way, shape, or form or facet. You can do meditations on your way to work, guided meditations where it's just like mantras being repeated, and you can come up with your own. You don't even need sound behind it, to be honest with you. It's just about staying in a moment and being one with yourself in that moment, and not focusing on the noise outside of you. And this can really help with stress. It can really help with anxiety. It improves like emotional regulations. They use it all the time with children, with counting and doing all these other different methods. But it just helps with your overall being. And I say like meditation is probably one of the simplest things that anybody, and it doesn't require a person who has a certificate. It doesn't require an app. It doesn't require too much of anything. Just kind of like clearing your mind and maybe repeating some affirmations to yourself, and you can come up with the affirmations. Like when sitting on a toilet, some of you take that time to meditate. They be like, what you doing in there? Why is it taking so long? You know how they used to be like, don't fall in. Did you fall in? No, I didn't fall in. I'm sitting here taking a moment. You got that coworker that is in the bathroom. You thinking that they doing number two. Sometimes they not in there doing a number two. Sometimes they're in there breathing, trying not to go postal at that job. Okay, and I don't blame them. So that is one thing. 3 things that I feel like deserve a lot more attention when it comes to going viral. So have you heard of any of these practices or participated in any of these healing practices? Let me know down below. And if so, how did it make you feel? And would you try any of them? All right, our next segment is LOLTLC, which y'all probably all been waiting for. Now, y'all might think some of my little videos are corny, but I'm going to play them right here. Okay. So these are funny videos that I found on the internet. I'm already laughing, and I hope y'all gonna laugh too. Some people don't find my humor funny, but it is what it is. So speaking of meditation, I came across this video as I was scrolling TikTok, and I'm just gonna play it.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's me and Tino. Stop it. It's me and Tino, and we are getting ready for some meditation this afternoon. Y'all, me and Tino had a very good weekend. Stop it. Stop, Tino. Let's go ahead and talk about how this meditation session is going to go. Tino, stop. Hold on, I'm trying to pause it. Tino, I'm trying to pause it. The video is playing. We have to pause it. Hold on.
Tino, I don't think you want to bring Tino to your meditation. He already, choosing violence. He on 10. Tino need a different type of healing practice. I don't think meditation is going to work for Tino. But speaking of pets, I did think that this young lady and her pet was very unique, because she was able to incorporate some of, which I think is beautiful and probably healing and therapeutic for her. She was able to incorporate her pet into something, to one of her healing practices or meditation practices or whatever you want to call it. Your body lightweight speaks to me. I thought that was so cute that she was able to practice pole dancing, which is also another form of probably decompressing for her, and a way for her and her cat to bond. And the cat took part, and I just thought that was the cutest thing. Not necessarily funny, but I thought it was really cute and relatable to when it comes to like pets being a part of like your decompression or practices that you may do to heal. So with that being said, do you have a pet, and do you include your pet in decompressing routines? Because they always around, honey. They are always around, just looking and staring. All right, the last segment is reflect, influence, or inspired. And reflecting on social media, we have done a lot of scrolling, and we've seen a lot of stuff in the media. Negative, good, bad, or indifference. Probably mostly negative, depending on what side that you have reached the algorithm on. But I want to say that when it comes to consuming content, we have to be mindful and be more intentional. And as I've stated before, I have been more intentional in picking the type of content that I'm consuming. And along that way, I have discovered an influencer / artist that I feel like deserves his flowers today, tomorrow, and forever. Okay. His music has definitely impacted me, and he has set out to really influence the people and move the culture forward. And he's all about elevation. And so one of the songs that really resonates with me, and by the way, I've had the pleasure, I went to R&B in the Park here in Houston recently, and I did not even look at the artist lineup, but lucky me, because I had already started following him musically and his journey. He was on the lineup, and I was able to see him live in concert because I kept missing every show out here. But I was able to watch him live at this R&B in a park event. And when I tell you I was front row and center, okay, period. And there was a song that really resonated with me because I don't know about anybody else, but I no longer have any more grandparents. They are now considered ancestors. And I see elderly people and our elders as very valuable members of our community. And there were parts in the songs, I've listened to his album, where he had an elder person there talking. And it reminded me of my grandmother, because a lot of times I would sit there and be like staring into space, and she would say, "Penny for your thoughts." And those were moments where I think that I was like collecting myself, maybe not necessarily had a thought, but I was centering myself and staying in the moment, you know? And so this song really like resonated with me because, like I said, I don't have any more elders. They are now ancestors. So this song is called Sit Yourself Down, and I can't play it. I wish I could, but y'all need to go and find his body of works. His name is AJ McQueen. And this particular song is called Sit Yourself Down, and he performed this song live at the event, and I want to say it was like one of the last songs. Oh my gosh. So the lyrics and how they start are no lie, this morning woke up kind of heavy, thoughts flood in my brain, almost broke a levee. Let me get steady, let me center myself before I do for anybody else. Let me consider myself. Check my mental health. Self, how's your heart? How are you feeling today? What's your capacity for humans? What's your ceiling today? Before you think about them bills, what you building today? Find your flow. Don't let them stones they throw get in your way. Oh my gosh. First of all, the whole song, okay? The whole entire song. But this intro, it really, like, it's just like, hold up, pause. Let's take a pause for a second. Before you do anything, check in with yourself. Check in with yourself. Where is your capacity for the rest of the day? That is so important, because oftentimes you see it on the internet, everybody is crashing out. So I think that what will help is not so much as that you won't experience adversities throughout the day or things like coming at you, but you will need to have a moment where you actually be like, hold on, where am I at emotionally? Where am I at mentally? Where am I at physically? It's like a self-inventory checklist. And I do this every day, like religiously, not really thinking about it. And I think I do it as I'm putting my makeup on and everything else, or driving to work. But it's a self-checklist so that you can be prepared for whatever is thrown at you. And this song, Sit Yourself Down, we are constantly on the go. And he's saying the ancestors and your elders are like, sit yourself down for a second. Sit yourself down. Okay? Let's take some inventory, bring it back, reel it back. And it's such a healing song. Oh my gosh. Like, I think y'all need to go look into AJ McQueen. He is doing amazing work. And I hope I can have a conversation with him one day. Actually, I did have a conversation with him before I even knew he was an artist. I met him at a job that I was working before the job that I have now. Didn't even know, but I knew it was something about his energy. I knew, and I even told him, I was like, I see you. And see, what I was seeing, I was right. But yeah. So If you know of any artists that create music about healing and evolving, drop their names and share them with the community, share them with me, because I would love to go take a listen. Because again, I'm being intentional about the content that I am engaging with and taking in. So share them below. Love to hear it. And so that is all I have for today. I hope that you stayed to the end. Thank you so much for listening and watching for the first episode of Beauty Over Burnout. Bye. Still believing, who's there? So on the inside, who's there in my mind?